Okay, so yes, I'm adding the parsley now, and then the paprika. Well, I mean, there's no specific order. This is just how I'm doing it this time, but you don't have to go in that order. The paprika, I usually just go generous. I'm generally generous with it because, well, it's very mild. Now some black pepper, ground black pepper. One more thing, a little. I like to put this. This is me personally, but I like to add a little bit of ginger powder. And remember in another video I told you that hot pepper plus ginger leads to a lot of burning. So I really mean just a little bit for flavor and for a different kind of heat. But if you don't like your food to be very spicy, you can skip this. This is really optional. I'm gonna stir it all up a little bit with my cayenne pepper. Now you want to go easy on this as well, because, well, depending on how strong it is, but you really want to go easy on it because the objective is not to burn your tongue numb. It's just to add a little piquant to your food. I'm going to add the curry powder, and once again you want to go easy on this because curry can be very strong. It doesn't burn, but, well, you should know what it's like, but it's very strong, so you don't want the curry overpowering all the other stuff in the fish. And, well, I can't tell you any specific quantities, but what I would strongly recommend is that you start off adding a little at a time and just keep tasting as you go along, and then you'll know, okay, well, it's missing a little bit of this or this little bit of that, so you keep adding to according to your taste, if you like your food very spicy or not so spicy. Okay, so I've begun with the avocados, so I'm just taking my fork and mashing them, well, mashing the avocado cubes together. So you're going to do that until you get you want a kind of a sort of a more of a puree, in fact, kind of texture to it. So the avocado is ready. This is more or less the kind of consistency you want to achieve, but you want to make sure that you look around and make sure that there aren't any big chunks yet, especially if you use the fork, because sometimes they hide along the bottom or the sides, like here for example. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, you need to make sure you get all of that. The saltfish is stewing on a low flame so that all the flavors can sort of come together. And what I'm going to do now is to lightly season the avocado. The paprika has decided to be very, very difficult about coming out, so I had to sort of tap the bottom of the bottle a little bit. Well, I don't need to do it now, but when I was cooking earlier on I had to do it, and you had to smack the booty a little to let it come out like it should. So I'm just going to mix this up. Okay, so the fish is ready, avocado is ready. What I'm going to do is to gradually add the fish to the avocado mixture and just mix it all up together. Now you could add it all at once, but the thing is I only have a small plate, so I would rather avoid having spillage and wasting good saltfish. So you see what I'm doing, just putting a little bit at a time and just mixing it all up. Like I said, if you have a bigger bowl, just add everything together and just try to mix it up so that the saltfish is evenly distributed throughout the avocado puree. Okay, so now the saltfish has been added and mixed into the avocado puree. I remember mentioning to you earlier on that I added lime to the avocado, but I didn't tell you why I was adding it. I was adding it to prevent the avocado from becoming oxidized and turning black like bananas do. And of course it goes without saying that the more lime you add, the more of a tartness the the balls are going to have afterward. So it depends on how much tartness you want. I said I added 3/4 of a lime. You could add just half a lime. Now it's time to add the cassava flour, which I showed you before. So you just add a little bit, sprinkle a little bit at a time over it, because it's going to absorb the moisture in the mixture and sort of help it all to bind together. Now if you add too much of it, it's going to be a bit crumbly and a little harder for to keep the balls together as balls when you actually come to that stage of it. So just like with the saltfish, we're just going to add a little bit at a time and then mix it all throughout. Okay, so all of the I've finished adding the cassava flour, and this is the consistency that you get. Now afterward you proceed to actually just shape the mix into little balls. Well, of course the size will vary on you basically, and how big you want them. I'm going to do it by hand. I made sure I washed my hands carefully and cleaned my nails. Sounds like I'm in kindergarten, doesn't it? Remember when the teachers used to tell you to do that? Anyway, so I made sure that was done, and I'm going to do it by hand. Just pick a little bit out, and basically, like, you can use 2 hands or just one. Just roll them up like this a little, and there you have them. Although I think it's a little soft, so I may add some more cassava flour, but basically this is it. Now I suppose you could also use a lemon baller. I'm not sure, maybe an ice cream scoop. I don't know if you don't want to use your hands, but I don't have one, so I'm going to use my hands. If you want, you can try it out and let me know if that actually works. That was just an idea. Like I said, I've never done it. So I'm rounding them up, shaping them into smooth little balls, and then putting them on the plate. Here's the final result. They're a little bit on the yellow side because I put a little too much curry in. You don't really taste it, but it sure looks it. So that's it. And if you just walked in and have heard me talking about all this talk about balls and balls, this is not a pornographic video, in case you're not seeing the actual imagery. Mama, your child is not watching porn. Be happy. Hope this tutorial has proved useful for you, and if you do try the recipe, let me know how it turns out. If you have any questions on anything that I said or did that wasn't particularly clear, you can always feel free to leave questions in the comments or send me a personal message. Yeah, do that. Enjoy. Bon appétit.